Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you how to create a drum loop using W1 hit. So W1 hit works by starting with a seed rhythm pattern, and then it allows you to create variations of it using the built-in AI system. If you don't like using AI for some reason, you can still use W1 hit to hot swap in rhythmic ideas without the augmentation. I built W1 hit in this manner for a few reasons. Number one, I wanted to start with organic drum patterns that are rooted in culture. The problem with most other rhythmic generating software is that they are math-based. So you end up with patterns that are more random and have no cultural influence, which means that the results automatically sound a lot worse than what you get with W1 hit. Most of the rhythms that are pleasing to our ears were developed over millennia as genres. If we could get musically pleasing rhythms just by randomly smashing a key on a piano, then music itself would be a completely different game. Number two is that W1 hit allows you to lock all of the rhythms of your specific style of music just by swapping out the seed patterns. All variations that you create with the AI will be variations of your specific style of music. And then the third reason I built it in this way is that there are trade-offs to building W1 hit as purely generative. One is that it requires much more data and a much more complex model in order to just barely achieve some of the same quality results. My goal for W1 hit was that you should be able to run it locally on your machine, even offline, and still get high quality results, not simply a bunch of math-based nonsense. Uh, so let's get into making a drum pattern. The drum kit that I use in most of my music is actually a combination of a few different drum kits. I highly recommend using this technique in your own music because it saves you a lot of time. First, I'm going to show you a basic operation of W1 hit, and then we'll get into creating a new drum loop. Okay, so the first thing to note is that this tool in the bottom left corner, this is W1 hit. The first thing you want to do when you're using it is to select the voice, or basically the sound that you're trying to generate a rhythm on. So I'll give you an example here. We hit voice select, we're gonna pick a random sound, and then we just hit this big button, which is our generate button, and then it will give us a pattern. In order for us to augment this pattern with the AI, we need to lock it into place so that we don't get different patterns. So that's what this lock seed is for. Then we can select a different voice to see the variations of that rhythm. Now, the AI only kicks in when these knobs are turned up, specifically the variation knob. If the variation knob is set to 0, you're basically not using the AI at all. You're just hot swapping rhythms. The moment this variation knob goes above 0, now you're actually using the AI to create variations. The more you crank this knob up, basically what it's doing is it's hiding that percentage of the pattern from the AI, and the AI's job is really just to try to rebuild it, right? So the AI is trained on a bunch of different rhythmic patterns so that it understands what rhythmic structure is. And so as we turn this variation knob up, it hides more of that rhythm from the AI, and basically the AI has to try to recreate it from its knowledge of rhythm. This temperature knob basically says how much freedom the AI has in essentially returning its answer. When this knob is all the way down, the AI is just trying to go for accuracy. It's basically just trying to rebuild that rhythm as accurate as it possibly can. The more we turn this temperature knob up, you're basically giving the AI freedom and liberty to sort of make whatever changes it wants. So that basically it returns a rhythm that drifts further and further away from the original. So basically this will like add in notes and remove notes more frequently. And this iterations knob basically just says how many times is that output fed back into the AI as input. So for instance, this is set to 5. It means that basically when it gets that first output, it's going to feed it back into the AI 4 more times before it outputs the final answer, right? So let's show you an example of like a few different rhythms being augmented. So we locked this rhythm into place and we've applied some level of variation to it. And then when we hit our generate button, now we will get variations of that specific rhythm. So you can see that it's making changes, but it's not completely throwing away that original rhythmic idea and just returning a bunch of random nonsense. It's actually structurally keeping the original rhythm and just making modifications to it. And we can go ahead and unlock the seed rhythm. We'll turn the variation off so that we can see what the original pattern is. We'll select a different voice, and we will generate a new pattern. Okay, so now we can see this pattern is much different than the first one, right? And so if we select another voice and we start creating variations, always remember to lock it into place first. As we create variations, what we'll notice is it's creating variations of that specific rhythm. It's not like creating variations of the first rhythm or some other random rhythm. It really is giving you variations of the rhythm that you started with, right? It's keeping that core rhythmic idea. And the lower that variation knob is the more it's going to keep that rhythmic idea. Same thing goes for temperature and iterations. The more you lower those, the more it kind of reverts back to the original rhythm as much as possible. Okay, I'll give you a third example. We will unlock the seed and we will select another voice. And we will generate a pattern. Let's get something nice and distinct from the other two. It's kind of like the first one. Okay, so once again, lock it into place. Select a different voice so we can see the changes. And we'll push that variation knob up again. And then now we can see we're getting variations of that specific rhythm, not just a bunch of random nonsense. It's actually sticking to the core idea, which is what we want. So you can see we've done this 3 times, and every time the AI has only given us variations of the rhythm that we started with. It didn't just throw it out and start giving us a bunch of random notes. It actually stuck to that original core idea, which is exactly what we want. So if we basically have a specific genre that we're working in, and we have a specific set of rhythms that we want to keep, then you can just basically replace all of the seed rhythms in W1 Hit with your own rhythms, and then you can create variations on those rhythms while maintaining your genre and maintaining that core rhythmic idea. And that's basically the core of what separates W1 Hit from other rhythmic software, is that number one, it's not math-based. It's actually based in actual cultural rhythms. And number two is that it's not random and it's not math-based. It's basically an AI that has learned the concept of rhythm and then is going ahead and augmenting rhythms based on a seed pattern. Okay, so let's get into creating our own drum pattern. First, we're going to remove all of these. We're going to turn that variation back down. And then we're going to start with a sort of 4 on the floor pattern just to anchor our ears. We will just add in this bass drum. I actually like to use a bass drum over the kick drum, mainly because it's more subdued and it kind of lets other elements kind of shine, whereas the kick drum tends to be a little bit overwhelming. It's good for certain genres of music, but for the kind of music I like to create, I much prefer the bass drum. So yeah, we'll start with that simple 4 on the floor rhythm. And then we'll find another sound that we like. I'm gonna go for, let's see, we'll go for this open hi-hat. We'll select that one. And we will generate some rhythms on there. We'll make sure this lock seed is off. And we'll just play it and kind of listen out for when we actually like it, right? Okay, so that's not bad. So let's say we want to augment that with the AI. We can lock it into place. We're going to turn the variation knob up. Usually to get a decent amount of variation, you need to push it past 50%. So at exactly 55%, the AI is 85% accurate in terms of rebuilding the rhythm. For the vast majority of rhythms, if you don't turn this variation knob up, past 55% or at least close to 55%, then a lot of the times you're just going to get the exact same rhythm that you started with. If the rhythm is relatively complex, then the AI is going to have a hard time putting it back together, and so you won't have to push the variation knob pretty hard. But if it's like a very static rhythm, a very like organized rhythm, then the AI is going to be able to sort of like guess exactly what it should be. Depending on the specific rhythm, you might have to push this variation knob harder in order to get the AI to sort of give you a variation rather than just giving you what you started with. So we're going to push the temperature a little bit so we can get some notes that are less probable. And we'll leave it at one iteration for now and we see what we get. We'll just play it and then keep iterating. Okay, we'll rock with that for now. So we'll continue in that manner. We're going to just select a bunch of different random voices based on what we like to hear. Let's go for the snare drum. We will create a bass pattern. Okay, that one's pretty good. So yeah, we'll just continue in that manner. You don't always have to augment with the AI. If you want more variation, then you can use the AI to do augmentation. But if you like what you hear, then pretty much just stick with it, right? And then we will continue. Let's go for maybe a hand clap, maybe. Okay, we'll go for that hand clap. And then generate some patterns and we'll play it. Okay, so that sounds pretty good, but we will get rid of this open hat because I don't really like it anymore. We'll hear it without the open hat. Yeah, that sounds much cleaner. Let's go for, maraca. We will select that one. And we will generate some patterns. That could work, but it's a little too busy. Okay, that's kind of nice. Let's create some variation on that one. We'll lock it into place. Turn this variation knob up. Ooh, okay, I like that. Okay. It's also very important to make sure that, well, two things. Number one, if you're trying to figure out what the original pattern was before variation, make sure that variation knob is turned all the way down. Even if the seed is unlocked, if you're just generating patterns while this variation knob is up, then what you're doing is you're really getting variations of random patterns. So you're getting a random pattern that gets picked and then AI augmentation is applied to it. So you don't really want to do that because it's very hard to understand what you're augmenting. You want to first get a core pattern and then augment it rather than to just get already augmented patterns. I'm not saying you can't work like that. You could totally work like that as well. It's just that the original patterns sound pretty good as they are because they are real drum patterns. So the way I suggest working with this is that you first get a drum pattern from the cache with the variation turned down, hear what that sounds like, and then if it needs augmentation, then you can push these variation knobs up to do that. So we actually just added this high conga, and so I have no idea what it's going to sound like, but let's check it out. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Maybe let's go for cowbell. Why not? And we will generate some rhythms. Ooh, that might be too busy, but let's hear it anyway. Okay, that's nice. It just adds a little bit of an accent. Okay, not bad. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add in a bass line. Let's make this a bit smaller. We're going to go ahead and get rid of these. Are sort of just my default settings, but we're going to go ahead and get rid of those. And we will look for serum. And all results. Let's see, where is serum? I'll drop that in here. And then what we will do is, well, let's first pick a key to work in. I'm just going to work in scale mode here to make things simple. We'll go with a minor. I pretty much almost exclusively use minor keys in my music. I just really like the way minor keys sound. But yeah, let's throw in W1 hit. And then we will first generate a pattern on the root note. So we'll select the root note and we'll just generate a random pattern to start. Oh, also make sure you're setting the length to whatever you're working with. So W1 hit by default produces 8-bar rhythms. So for this, I'm just going to select 8. And then we will select a specific sound from serum. We're going to just let that play. Oh, there we go. Let that play. And then we can go into serum and choose a bass sound. Let's see what these sounds. Ooh, that's futuristic. This might be a little bit too low in the register. Actually, we'll just go to, let's see. Oh. There we go. And then, I mean, I know I just said that this video would be about making a drum pattern, but, you know, why not? So we will add another MIDI track, and we will go back for serum. Actually, the quickest way to do this is simply to duplicate the one we already had. That way we get W1 hit already installed, and we already have our key selected. All we got to do is select a voice. Let's go higher in the register. Do this one. Okay. And then we'll just generate some random pattern to start, and we will play it, and we will swap out the instrument. That's a pretty good sound, but we might want to swap out this rhythm so it's not quite as static. Actually, let's lock it into place and just iterate on it. We can just go ahead and turn that variation knob up. We'll turn the temperature up a bit. We'll keep the iterations low so it doesn't drift too far away. But yeah, we can just iterate on that idea since it's not too bad. Oh, what just happened there? Oh, I think I might have swapped the instrument. Okay, we'll go with that. So yeah, we will select that voice, make sure it's on the right one, and we will make a few variations of that and see what we get. Okay, so what we're going to do is actually turn this into a melody. We're just going to skip every other note in the scale to basically create a melody that's based on those chord positions. All right, so it's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so forth and so on. I just added a note by accident. Okay, let's hear what that sounds like. Not bad, but to be honest, I don't really like it too much. If I were going to work with this specific pattern, I would probably kind of rework it a bit. But actually, let's get a rhythm that we really like, and then we'll kind of do the same thing to it. So we'll actually turn that variation off. We will unlock that seed rhythm, and then we'll generate a few different patterns. So first, we want to start with a pattern that we really like already. So we really want to like that rhythm already, and then we can turn it into a melody, and that melody will sound good. Okay, there we go. That's a pretty good sounding rhythm. And so now if we want to make it into a melody, we will follow that same pattern. Okay, let's check that out. Okay, cool. And we can kind of keep going in that manner. I'm just going to duplicate this one to save time. We will clean out all those notes, and we will generate something else on maybe a lower octave. Let's make sure that we can actually hear what we're doing here. There we go. Select that lower octave. We'll just throw in a random rhythm to start, and we will find some sounds. Actually, that sounds pretty good already, but let's try some other instruments though. That would sound nice with some saturation on it. That's some saturation. Pro tip, saturate everything. It really makes a huge difference. Every single channel, you want to add some kind of saturation to it. Usually I like to go between 5 and 8 decibels of saturation. And then also add saturation to your mastering chain, because that's just gonna make everything sound amazing. But yeah, let's check it out with some saturation. And then I'm going to actually use a technique that I've shown in other videos, and I'm just going to grab the angry organ. Let's first just duplicate that to save time. We are going to remove these notes. Actually, what we're going to do is just add a nice long sustain note, and we're going to reach for a noise gate. So gate, we're going to throw it on there, and then we are going to sidechain that to the drums, which is this D0D house rack. And then, yeah, we're gonna just play that, and maybe we'll change the voicing a bit, but we'll see what we get. We might have to add some saturation as well, but here we go. Let's add in the lower octave. Oops. Okay, lower octave. Oh, sorry. I actually meant higher octave. That's already too deep. Here we go. We can even add in, let's try the third, see what we get. Ooh, that's a little too harsh. Let's go up to the fifth. It's actually let's move the whole thing up one octave, see what we get. Not bad. Actually, let's pull this lower octave back in just to get a little bit of depth. There we go. Okay, and then we'll just add in one more sound. Let's go for something that's like a Ableton default. Let's check out the instruments. Let's go ahead and add, oh, once again, we'll just duplicate this to save time. And we will remove those notes, and we'll just see what some of the default Ableton sounds are. Let's see, what do we have here? Electric. Maybe one of these pianos. We'll go for this grand piano. And once again, we will just use W1 hit to start with a rhythm. And we'll go ahead and select the root note. Oh, why is the volume so low on that one? Oh, probably because it's noise gate. There we go. Okay, so gonna go ahead and select that. Ooh, actually, a noise gate on this would probably sound cool too. Shoot, let's try that. If it doesn't work out, we'll get rid of it. But let's see what happens when we add a noise gate to this piano sound. Although I don't know how sustained the sound is. It might not work out so well because it's probably not a super sustained sound. You'd probably have to at least break it up. So you could do something like this to kind of make sure that it hits more than once. But yeah, let's see what that sounds like. It's very subdued. And it's also just playing the same rhythm. So maybe, you know, it would kind of help to sort of assist the organ, but it wouldn't really create a completely different sound. So yeah, maybe we won't go that route. It's just basically replicating what the organ's already doing. So we will generate something from W1 hit. We'll select that root note there, and we'll see what we get. Let's push this drive a bit more. We want it to be distinct in frequency from the other sounds, so we're going to push it into the upper octaves so that we can get something that sounds more distinct from the other music that's already playing. Actually, let's use the grand piano thin air. It's one of my favorite instruments. Let's see what we get. Okay, it generated in this lower octave because that's what I had selected before, but that's fine. We will just figure out something that works for this octave, and then we will move it around the scale. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Let's solo that actually. And then we're gonna actually create like a chord out of this. So we're gonna go to the third, and we're gonna go to the fifth. Let's see what that sounds like soloed. Ooh, it's too much drive. Actually, let's go ahead and pull down the faders on all of these to create some more headroom. That way we can push that piano up if we need to. Let's see. Although this might come through on your speakers as much lower. But in music production, that's basically what you need to do, is pull the faders down so you can push them up, and then in the mastering chain you kind of bring everything back up to volume. Not great for YouTube, but great for music production. But let's see what we get on this piano if we go ahead and push it a little bit harder. And I'll go into the mastering chain and I'll just don't do what I'm doing here if you're doing real music production. This will completely mess up your sound in the final result. But I'm just kind of pushing this compression down a bit so that I can get a little bit more volume out of this. Okay, not too bad. We can even extend these so that it's a little bit longer, more of a sustained note. Let's see what we get. Oh no, that sounds messy. We'll keep it. Yeah, you'd want to polish this a lot more. Probably come up with like a chord progression or something. You could like move these around just to get see what that sounds like. Yeah, not that. But yeah, that's the general idea of how you use W1 Hit anyway. Yeah, you kind of just iterate, try different things, pull in new rhythms, see what works against what you already have, and then you just kind of keep augmenting. So yeah, I'll probably keep working on the song. I kind of like the original idea, so maybe I'll turn it into a full song, and then in the next video you can see the result. But yeah, that's it for now. Have fun creating with W1 Hit, and stay tuned for more.